Yes, folks, for those of you who've been living under a rock since January 1st, a few days ago, we had new Doctor Who, Spyfall, or specifically Spyfall Part 1. And this has been very exciting. We had some new actors. We had Stephen Fry, we had Sacha Dhawan, and it opens with the Doctor and her friends after seeing a bunch of spies around the world disappearing, being summoned by these guys in black in the car. And yes, it's MI6. And somebody from MI6 wants to talk to the Doctor and her friends. But before this happens, the car gets hijacked, specifically the GPS, and it tries to kill them. And I love what C, the head of MI6, a nod to M from the James Bond days. I love what he says. He said, You're trying to wreck my car. Another thing I liked when they met the Doctor, she was fixing the car like, fixing the TARDIS like a car. But, so they get there, and C is played by Stephen Fry. He's such a good actor, and I feel he was underused in this episode. But he talks to Graham first, mistaking him for the Doctor. He said, well, last time I checked, the Doctor was a man. Time Lords can cross genders. Duh. And she finds out that, she talks to O, who is one of her contacts, formerly of MI6. C had fired him. And she said, crisis, big, huge crisis. And he responded to her. And C is just about to give them some information when he's shot. Yeah, underusing Stephen Fry, definitely. So the Doctor and her friends travel to meet C, who's played by Sacha Dhawan. Now, if you saw something around the time of the 50th anniversary episode, they also had a biopic called An Adventure in Space and Time, which was how it became to be. And we've seen David Bradley reprise sort of a doctory role in one of the latest Christmas specials, Twice Upon a Time. We have seen the girl who played the late Verity Lambert being a psychic in the episode Hyde in the Matt Smith time period. And so this comes full circle because Sacha Dhawan in that he played Waris Hussein, one of the early Doctor Who producers. So this guy lives in a house in the middle of nowhere. He has information on aliens and everything, and this, it seems sort of normal, but seems kind of fishy. He's supposed to be off-grid, but he's got like a whole bunch of technology in his house. He mentioned he knew the Doctor briefly when the Doctor was a man. He seems very trustworthy, but if it looks like a duck and quacks like a duck, yeah, something's wrong. So, when the creatures who've been coming out and attack the spies, attack the perimeter, and nice perimeter grid, like I said, the dude has way too much technology for his own good. After that, the Doctor and her friends decide to leg it. And she says to, fancy a trip in the box. And he's like, yeah. And then his reaction is one of my favorite TARDIS reactions. He looks inside the box and goes, shut up. So they end up going to a casino party. Yaz and Ryan had infiltrated this guy who has a lot of money, a lot of power, something like Google search, and just a big, powerful company, but he's only like 93% human, which is kind of fishy. What's the other 7%? And so it's a big casino party, and the doctor confronts the guy, but he's acting like she's nuts and she needs to get psychiatric help, and they end up getting on one of his planes. And then it all starts to unravel. Then we get the big reveal. O tells her to look out the window, and almost Wicked Witch of the West, what's flying next to them? His house. Makes you think, doesn't it? Like maybe it's a TARDIS that's been stuck in a certain shape. Yeah. If it looks like a duck, if it quacks like a duck, it's a Time Lord, folks. And not just any Time Lord. Yeah, there's a reason he's called O. Oh. Yes, the big reveal. A la the old series, where a certain evil Time Lord, the Master, would show up at the end. So, any of us who've seen World in Enough Time and The Doctor Falls, towards the end of the Peter Capaldi era, we remember the Multiple Master story arc with John Sim and with, the Master, previous incarnation, and we remember Missy. We remember what happened. She hugged him and then she stabbed him. And just as he's gonna go down the lift to his TARDIS to regenerate, he zaps her with his laser screwdriver, like totally electrocuting her. And we always thought that this was the end of it. But let me give you a call back to the old series. We saw many incarnations of the Master through different doctors. And there was a point where the Master in the old series was on his very last regeneration, and he was just really decrepit and really decaying and really gross, and he bypassed this by inhabiting some of his, somebody else's body. And then went on to terrorize the Doctor and his companions throughout the old series. We saw the Master come back in the 1993 movie and inhabit a human. So it seems that when he's on his last leg, he ends up doing that. And it seems that Missy may have done that because this particular Master has said that he took over the life of agent called O, kept him in like a little matchbook box so he could have the original DNA. Exciting? Yes. And the Master is like Stefano Demira from Days of Our Lives. Even when the dude was killed off, he wasn't really dead. And what would the Doctor be without an arch enemy? You gotta have the good versus the evil. So the episode ends with the plane crashing and the Doctor stuck between worlds or someplace. So in peril. What will happen in Spyfall Part 2? The good news is we will find out on Sunday. And that is amazing. Talk about getting a huge New Year's gift. And what do I think of the 13th Doctor? I own her sonic screwdriver. What do you think? But anyway, stay tuned. I will have a review for Spyfall Part 2 as soon as I've watched it a couple of times and digested it and decided what I think of it. And tune in next time. Don't go far, and have a great day.